This is your USMNT Abroad weekend update from August 19th to August 21st of 2022. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to a channel favorite, the US Men's National Team Abroad series, where every Monday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the weekend, and a little bit of a midweek update as well. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about on this episode. The center forwards continue to score. Leeds United also playing soccer on crack did work. They defeated Chelsea. We'll talk about that very soon. But before we start, a quick word from our sponsor. And thank you, BetOnline, for sponsoring the channel. BetOnline continues to like there right now, so we can try to hit 1,000 likes per episode like we've been doing every single episode. Thanks to you. Thank you very much. It helps the YouTube algorithm quite a bit. And then comment anything down below just to help. Okay, let's play the intro and let's start with the updates. So before we go to the performance updates, I need to do one quick transfer update that might happen soon. And that is Jordi Mihailovic in MLS from Montreal. He could be heading to AZ Alkmaar in the Netherlands for $6 million. There are several reports out there. It might be official by the time you're watching this, and it looks very likely to happen. It's unclear if he will stay on a loan with Montreal till the end of the MLS season or head right away to the Netherlands. I like this move. It's not a top 5 league, so it's an easier transition, a very technical league in a very strong team. He's been great in MLS, and it's time for a bigger challenge. So I love this move from Jordi Mihailovic if it gets confirmed. Now off to the performance updates, and we'll start with my favorite game of this weekend, which was where Pulisic faced Brenden Aaronson, Tyler Adams, and Jesse Marsch, Chelsea versus Leeds United. On Sunday, Christian Pulisic started off on the bench and came in at the 63rd minute for Chelsea during their 3-0 loss to Leeds United States of America, while Brenden Aaronson and Tyler Adams both started for Leeds, with Brenden playing 83 minutes and Tyler Adams going the full 90. For the first half, Brenden Aaronson played as a pressing 10. He roamed a lot and was absolutely fantastic. Great first touch, was able to draw a foul on Koulibaly with a beautiful turn. That yellow card later on in the game paid dividends because Koulibaly ended up getting a second yellow card, which is a red card. Yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you that 2 yellow cards is a red card. Sorry. Brenden Aaronson also got the first goal of the match for Leeds United after a perfect press on Chelsea's goalkeeper Mendy. Aaronson was able to steal the ball and score. It's also not the first time we see Mendy doing this, having a bad giveaway. We saw that against Real Madrid last season in the Champions League. Now, Tyler Adams was also great in this game. He did the dirty work, pressed well, connected most of his passes. In regards to the second half, Brenden Aaronson was also a 10, and Tyler was still a central midfielder in a double pivot, but then we saw a lot more defending from Leeds and less pressing and attacking, which makes sense as they had a 2-0 lead to hold on to that eventually became a 3-0 lead. I also thought Jesse Marsch did a fantastic job. Unlike last week when they blew the 2-0 lead, he was fantastic with his adjustments in halftime, right? They switched to a mid-block, less aggressive with the pressing, less of that soccer on crack style of play, and it worked. They got the 3-0 lead and they held on to it. Now, Chelsea's front three looked awful all game long. Sterling had a few good moments, but not great as well. But Mount and Havertz, again, it was terrible from them. And Pulisic came in and played as a central attacking midfielder at times. Then he drifted and played a little bit as a left winger. Honestly, not much to talk about here. It seems like no player can function as a forward in Thomas Tuchel's system. Now for this match, in terms of stats, Tyler Adams had 62 touches and 83% passing accuracy, 2 key passes. And I've also noticed that Tyler is not very good as a regista, a deep lying playmaker. As long as he can release the ball quickly, which a regista usually holds it a little bit longer, he is good at it. He needs to release it quickly. So again, US Men's National Team, we can't have that slow build-up and have Tyler Adams at the 6. Now, Brenden Aaronson had 46 touches, a 69% passing accuracy, 2 key passes, 1 goal, won 4 out of 10 ground duels. Now, next up on the list is Weston McKennie from Juventus. They play on Monday, so drop a comment down below whether or not he played. Last week he was back and he already started for Juventus, coming back before the scheduled time of his recovery from the injury. Eventually, someone's going to have to study Weston McKennie and understand his Wolverine-like ability to recover from injuries. It's amazing how fast he recovers. He started last week. Drop a comment down below if he started and played for Juventus this Monday. Next up is Giovanni Reyna from Borussia Dortmund. On Saturday, Gio Reyna started off on the bench and came in at the 62nd minute for Borussia Dortmund during their 3-2 loss to Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga. So Reyna did play as a right winger and he seemed to still be getting back on it, right? Looked a little bit rusty despite showing all his ability on the ball once again. But let's talk about Dortmund for a second here. They had a 2-0 lead at home versus Werder Bremen up to the 89th minute. 2-0 with 1 minute left in the game, plus added time, right, which is a couple minutes. And the game finished 3-2 to Werder Bremen. It's amazing how Dortmund does everything in their power to give the Bundesliga to Bayern Munich. It just becomes unwatchable at this point. I don't understand it. I really don't. Next up is Serginho Dest from Barcelona, or for now, definitely he shouldn't stay at Barcelona. Just saying. I'll tell you why right now. So Dest is no longer in Barcelona's plans, and it looks like this is Xavi's words, not mine, okay? This is something that Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, and I'm quoting Xavi right here. We wanted to sign Azpilicueta, but it couldn't be. We will have to see what we do. Serginho Dest, he asks. He knows about the situation. Romano then adds on that Serginho Dest is currently out of Barcelona's plans. Look, it's time for Serginho Dest to leave, move on. The relationship is over. Time to go. Otherwise, it just becomes an unhealthy, toxic relationship. I know it was his childhood dream to play for Barcelona, but it looks like as long as Xavi is there, which he will be for a foreseeable future, Dest has no space. So Dest has to leave, and the transfer window closes soon. He has to go. Get a transfer, a loan, anything. Now let's go by positions, and let's start with the goalkeepers. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button so we can hit 1,000 likes in this video. Sorry for asking this way too much. I know it's annoying, but I love those likes. They feed my ego. Let's start with Zach Steffen from Middlesbrough, and obviously since Matthew Hoppe also plays for Middlesbrough, we'll update you on him as well, even though we're doing it by positions with the goalkeepers. On Saturday, Zach Steffen started and went the full 90 minutes for Middlesbrough during their 1-0 loss to Reading in the EFL Championship. Now, Matthew Hoppe started off on the bench in this match and came in at the 70th minute for Middlesbrough. I will try to watch one of their full games to give a more detailed report on Hoppe in the future, once his minutes ramp up, which I expect him to do so. Next up is Ethan Horvath from Luton Town, also in the EFL Championship, the 2nd Division of England. On Saturday, Ethan Horvath started and went the full 90 minutes for Luton Town during their 2-0 win over Swansea. He got a clean sheet. You can't really expect more from a goalkeeper, so he got the job done. Next up is Matt Turner, and he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes over the weekend for Arsenal as expected, and probably will be there unless there's cup games or maybe Europa League, but I really don't expect Matt Turner to play much unless Aaron Ramsdale's injured or suspended. But boy, let's talk about Gabriel Jesus. He continues to ball out. And I know that's completely off topic. Now let's go to the center backs, and we'll start with John Brooks, that still doesn't have a club. I don't know, man. I said it a few weeks ago. Maybe he retired. Who knows? I'll keep you all updated, but as of now, John Brooks is still a free agent after leaving Wolfsburg last season. So let's go to a center back that actually plays, and that is Chris Richards from Crystal Palace in the English Premier League. On Saturday, Chris Richards started off on the bench and pretty much stayed there, as he only came in for Crystal Palace at the 90th minute during their 3-1 victory over Aston Villa in the English Premier League. Next up is Eric Palmer-Brown from Troyes in France. On Friday, Eric Palmer-Brown started and went the full 90 minutes for Troyes during their 4-1 loss to Lyon in Ligue 1. Now, I did not watch this game, but if you're a center back and your team allows 4 goals, I can imagine that at best, you had a slightly bad game, and at worst, you had a horrendous game. Now, Mark McKenzie from Genk in Belgium. On Saturday, McKenzie started and went the full 90 minutes for Genk during their 2-1 win over Cercle Brugge in Belgium. Now, they recently sold their starting center back, Lukumi, to Bologna in the Serie A. So Mark McKenzie is expected to continue to be one of their starting center backs for the remainder of the season unless Genk signs another center back. So good news for the young American center back. The next center back is Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic in Scotland. On Sunday, CCV started and went the full 90 minutes for Celtic during their 2-1 win over Hearts in the Scottish Premiership. Next up is Owen Otasawi from Club Brugge in Belgium. So on Sunday, Owen Otasawi stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for Club Brugge, and unlike Mark McKenzie, it looks like Club Brugge actually signed a center back. So Owen Otasawi might struggle with minutes. They signed Dedrick Boyata, a center back from the Belgium national team in Hertha Berlin. So probably Owen Otasawi won't get many minutes with a new center back being added. I started hopeful this year, but I am slowly losing hope, for the short term at least, of Owen Otasawi. The last center back I want to talk about in this video is Austin Trusty from Birmingham City in the EFL Championship, the English 2nd Division. On Saturday, Austin Trusty started and played the full 90 minutes for Birmingham City once again during their 1-0 loss to Wigan in the EFL Championship. Now, it looks like he's been playing well in England. I haven't been able to watch. There is only so much soccer one person can watch. If you have watched Austin Trusty, leave your thoughts on the comment section down below. All right, so now we're going to go to the fullbacks, and then we're going to go to midfielders, then the forwards, then we're finally done. We're getting there. Okay, so now let's talk about Tim Ream from Fulham and Jedi Robinson. On Saturday, Tim Ream and A-Rob both started and both played the full 90 minutes for Fulham during their 3-2 win over Brentford in the English Premier League. Now, the first goal they allowed, it was really not on them. However, the second goal Fulham allowed was a good chunk on Tim Ream and Jedi Robinson. They were on a 2v1 advantage, marking Wissa on the left flank, and Wissa was able to get the cross into Ivan Toney. Nothing horrible, just a little bit of a bad defensive moment for both. Regardless, Fulham still managed to get the win and the 3 points. Next up is Reggie Cannon from Boa Vista in Portugal. On Sunday, Reggie Cannon started and played the full 90 minutes for Boa Vista as a right center back in the back three during their 2-0 loss to Casa Pia in Portugal in Liga NOS. Now, quick update on Sam Vines. Antwerp does not play over this weekend, they did not play over the weekend, but they do play in the midweek for the Europa Conference League playoffs, which is essentially the third division of the Champions League. Now, Brian Reynolds continues to be a backup for Westerlo, so Brian Reynolds, there's not many updates there. All I'll say is I'll update on him when he starts playing again, if he does. But this current situation for Brian Reynolds might as well go back to MLS. Now, Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach. On Friday, Joe Scally started and played the full 90 minutes for Gladbach during their 1-0 win over Hertha Berlin in the Bundesliga. This is 3 starts in a row for Scally at the right back position with Liner available. He is officially their starting right back, and also Gladbach is off to a great start with 2 wins and 1 draw in 3 matches played. You see, Scally's a player we must give another opportunity for the US men's national team. He has to be brought in the September camp, especially with DeAndre Yedlin not being that great in MLS right now. Serginho Dest, with his relationship problems with Barcelona, doesn't play. We do need to give Joe Scally another look. He looks like he belongs in the Bundesliga, and he's perfectly capable of playing at that high level. We can't just go off that Uruguay game. That's what I'm saying. Now, Kevin Paredes, also in Germany, that plays for Wolfsburg. On Saturday, Kevin Paredes started off on the bench and came in for Wolfsburg at the 76th minute during their 0-0 draw with Schalke in the Bundesliga. Now, Paredes had some good moments in this game, showing his dribbling ability and strength on the ball. Almost got an assist while playing as a right winger. And yes, I know he's in the fullback section because he does play as a fullback as well, but he played as a right winger for this match. The last fullback is George Bello, and he is a backup in Bundesliga 2, so that's also not good. There's not much to talk about there. I won't be reporting on Bello unless he starts to get minutes for Arminia Bielefeld in the 2nd division of Germany, which it hasn't looked good this season. Okay, so we reached the midfielders, and if you kindly could, hit the like button. I'm asking it once more so we can hit those 1,000 likes or more. So we'll start with Yunus Musa from Valencia. On Sunday, Yunus Musa started and played 62 minutes for Valencia during their 1-0 loss to Atletico Bilbao in La Liga. Musa played as an 8, as a central midfielder once again in a 4-3-3, sometimes looking as a 4-2-3-1. And for this match, Yunus Musa had 50 touches, a 92% passing accuracy, won 3 out of 5 ground duels, lost possession 7 times, and added 3 clearances. Over the midweek, this week, we will release a video about Yunus Musa, which we're going to bring a special guest, and he'll talk about the current situation in Valencia. We'll talk a little bit about Yunus Musa in the video, but it's more focused on the overall situation in Valencia, how that can affect Yunus Musa, and also the possibility of Tim Weah heading to Valencia. So keep an eye out on that. It should be out on Wednesday. Still in Spain, we have another player to report on, and that is Luca de la Torre from Celta de Vigo. On Saturday, Luca de la Torre started off on the bench and came in at the 86th minute for Celta de Vigo during their 4-1 loss to Real Madrid. So it's a little over 5 minutes of game time that he got. The game was already 4-1, and so there's not much to talk about performance-wise, but I'm happy to see him get his debut, his La Liga debut, and surely hope that those minutes start to go up very soon. Now in Scotland, James Sands and Malik Tillman from Rangers. On Saturday, James Sands started and played the full 90 minutes for Rangers as a centre back during their 2-2 draw with Hibernian in Scotland. Malik Tillman stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for this match. They do have a big game on the midweek against PSV to see who makes it to the Champions League group stage, so Malik Tillman was likely being rested. The first leg for this knockout round, PSV and Rangers tied 2-2 in Scotland, and now they have the second leg in Netherlands during the midweek. Now the Venezia boys, Tanner Tasman, Gianluca Busio, and Novakovic. And there's more Americans that I'm about to talk about. Venezia has a lot of Americans, including the ownership. On Sunday, Tanner Tessman, Gianluca Busio, and Novakovic all started for Venezia during their 2-1 win over Sudi Tirol in the Italian second division, the Serie B. Now, Busio and Novakovic both played 63 minutes, while Tanner Tessman played the full 90 minutes. Jack de Vries came off the bench for Venezia around the 78th minute, while Patrick Leo started off on the bench and stayed there for the full 90 minutes. There are a lot of Americans at the beautiful city of Venice. Now, Johnny Cardoso, he plays this Monday, so if you end up watching Internacional in the Brazilian League, drop a comment down below. So let's still stay in South America and go to Alan Sonora from Independiente in Argentina. On Sunday, Alan Sonora started and went the full 90 minutes for Independiente during their 1-1 draw with Godoy Cruz at Argentina. Now we have a couple midfielders to report on that play in Netherlands, okay, in the Eredivisie. So let's go first through Taylor Booth from Utrecht. On Saturday, Taylor Booth started off on the bench and came in at the 68th minute for Utrecht during their 3-2 loss to Emen in the Eredivisie. So the first 2 games of the season, Booth started, but he was subbed off at halftime. So it was expected that if that trend continued, eventually he would come off the bench. And it happened. So now the next player is Cole Bassett. On Saturday, Cole Bassett made his debut for Fortuna Sittard by coming off the bench at the 60th minute during their 4-1 loss to Cambuur in Netherlands. And yes, Cole Bassett just switched his loan from Feyenoord to Fortuna Sittard. Okay, so Richie Ledesma, he didn't play for PSV, not available. He's recovering from an ankle injury. So the next 2 players I want to talk about playing Portugal, the last midfielders I want to talk about, I believe, in this video, and that is Alejandro Alvarado and Alex Mendes from Vizela in Liga NOS in Portugal. On Saturday, Alex Mendes and Alejandro Alvarado both started off on the bench for Vizela during their 1-1 draw with Chaves in Liga NOS. Alex Mendes came in at the 64th minute and Alejandro Alvarado came in at the 90th minute. And listen, if some players are missing in this video, is because we do have to prioritize players that have maybe more importance to the national team poll or maybe playing in a better league. Okay, so yes, some players might be missing every week. We'll report on them every 2 weeks sometimes, just in case you think there's a name missing. Now let's go to the forwards. Okay, so for the forwards, the first one we want to talk about is Timothy Weah, and he could still transfer to Valencia on a loan. The interest is real, but the only confirmation we have right now is that he's not available for Lille due to an ankle injury, and he will be out for at least 3 weeks. So Weah is currently injured. Now let's talk about Conrad de la Fuente from Olympiacos in Greece. On Sunday, Conrad started and played 64 minutes for Olympiacos during their 2-0 win over Giannina in Greece. I don't know where to watch the Greek league. I kind of want to just go to Greece maybe. It might be a fun trip and catch a few games. But if anyone knows where to watch these games, please let me know. And don't send me one of those sketchy websites that, you know, have some very freaky advertisements and give my computer AIDS. Let's not do that. But I really want to watch a game or 2 from Greece. So if you know, let me know in the comment section down below. Next up is Ricardo Pepi from Augsburg in the Bundesliga. On Saturday, Pepi started off on the bench and came in at the 68th minute for Augsburg during their 2-1 loss to Mainz in the Bundesliga. So he sort of played as a tucked-in right winger. Augsburg also struggles to combine and counter. The team is very bad for forwards. By that I mean it's horrible if you're an attacking player. I can't see a forward scoring more than 5 goals in a full season for this team. So it doesn't even matter if Pepi gets many minutes. I can't see him really breaking through with the way they currently play. Now, the late goal scored by Mainz was off a corner, and a good chunk of that goal was on Pepi. The ball was coming off in his direction, and he let the forward anticipate it and head it in. Of course, the entire team was not really prepared for that moment with a short corner, but again, a good chunk of it was on Pepi because he was involved directly on the goal. Not much to add here. Pepi's up for a rough season, and so is Augsburg in Germany. Now, still in Germany, but with a center forward that is playing very well in the Bundesliga, and that is Pefok from Union Berlin. On Saturday, Pefok started and played 62 minutes for Union Berlin during their 2-1 win over Leipzig in the Bundesliga. So Pefok picked up a goal and an assist in this match. Him and Becker combined very well up top, playing as the 2 strikers. Pefok also helped the team a lot on defense. He had a very good game. And we must mention, Leipzig is a very tough opponent. I'm not sure who's the USMNT starting 9. That can even depend on the opponent. But based on his Bundesliga performances and past season performances in the Champions League in Switzerland, Pefok has to be in our World Cup roster. For this match, Pefok had 25 touches, a 44% passing accuracy, 1 key pass, 1 goal, 1 assist, won 3 out of 6 ground duels, 4 out of 10 aerial duels, had 2 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 interception, and 3 tackles. So listen, Pefok has been scoring for more than a season. Haji Wright was last year, Jesus Ferreira in MLS. So many of our forwards score goals in the club level, and we're going to even talk about Sargent soon. He's also scoring now. The thing is, we do have quality nines that are good enough to help this team and score for this team. So the US men's national team has a 9 problem. It's called Greg Berhalter. Probably no 9 can actually function well in Berhalter's system, the way he wants it to play. That is something to think about. I could be wrong, but I mean, when it's 1 player, 2 players, it's on the players. When it's a bunch of players that are performing for different systems and different clubs, you have to ask if it's not really the coach. With that said, now let's go to Josh Sargent from Norwich. On Friday, Josh Sargent started and played 86 minutes for Norwich during their 2-0 win over Millwall in the EFL Championship. So Sargent for this game played as a center forward. And you know what? He scored both goals for Norwich in this match to get them the 2-0 win. But goals aside, he also had a great performance as well. Great hold-up, good combinations, good press. Was just not very good in the air for this specific match. For this game, Josh Sargent had 40 touches, an 83% passing accuracy, 3 shots on target, 2 goals, 1 big chance missed, won 7 out of 11 ground duels, but lost all 6 of his aerial duels, even though Sargent is usually good in the air. It's important to say that they started because Pukki was half fit, but Pukki did come in at the 86th minute. So Pukki was half fit, but he still came into this game. So I don't know. Maybe Sargent will become the center forward, maybe not. If he continues to be the center forward and continues to score the way he's doing, he has 3 goals now in 2 games because he also scored in their last match, starting as a center forward in a 4-3-3 formation. If he continues to do so, he deserves a chance in the September camp for the US men's national team. And when you look at our center forward poll, for what Greg Berhalter wants from a center forward, Sargent kind of fits the player profile. As long as he's scoring, everything else, the press, the hold-up, the combination play, physicality, winning balls in the air, he fits more than any other player. But he needs to be scoring, his confidence has to be up, and he has to be playing as a center forward at the club level. So we'll see how the next rounds go. The next center forward is also scoring at the club level, and that is Haji Wright from Antalyaspor in Turkey. On Saturday, Haji Wright started and went the full 90 minutes for Antalyaspor during their 5-2 win over Trabzonspor, the current Turkish champs. And for this match, he was able to draw a PK and convert it, and he did also score a goal at added time around the 97th minute, the 5th goal of the match. The last goal was a bit bizarre, as the defenders kind of seemed afraid to go for the ball, and then there was this weird deflection that kind of lobbed it over the goalkeeper. Regardless, props to Haji Wright. That's 2 goals. I don't care if it was weird. I'm just happy our center forwards keep scoring. Now, another center forward, now a dual national, that's not really with the national team. He would have to accept he would have to file a one-time switch along with accepting a call from Greg Berhalter, and that is Florian Balogun from Reims in Ligue 1 in France, and he scored again. On Saturday, Balogun started and played the full 90 minutes for Reims during their 1-1 draw with Strasbourg in Ligue 1. Balogun scored their goal for this match, and so far in France, he's had 3 goals and got an assist in 3 games. Also, one of those 3 games, he came out as a sub. So that is an impressive stat. Impressive numbers, I would say, from Florian Balogun, the English-American dual national. Yeah, 3 games, 3 goals, 1 assist, 1 coming off the bench. Those are pretty good. Now, Luca Coleocho, the Canadian-American from Espanyol in La Liga. On Friday, Luca Coleocho started off on the bench and came in at the 77th minute for Espanyol during their 2-0 loss to Rayo in La Liga. In both games this season, the soon-to-be 18-year-old Canadian-American, because he's currently 17 but he turns 18 soon, was able to get minutes in the Spanish First Division. This is some very good stuff from Coleocho so far. Now, in regards to Alex Maitan, the other dual national that can play for England or the United States, he continues to just ride the bench for Nottingham Forest in the English Premier League. Last but not least, Lyndon Gooch from Sunderland. Now, due to constant complaining in the comment section, yes, I am weak and I am bowing to the crowd, but don't get used to it. I will not always report on him, but there was too much complaining, so I have to mention Lyndon Gooch, and eventually I'll probably have to mention Josie Altidore that plays in Mexico now. So on Saturday, Lyndon Gooch started and went the full 90 minutes for Sunderland during their 1-0 win over Stoke City. Now, I do have to say that Gooch did score a nice goal for Sunderland during the midweek. Right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button and drop a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully we get more weekends where Leeds United plays some soccer on crack, and it's just very enjoyable to watch. Thank you very much once again, BetOnline, for sponsoring this video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.